We're joined now by Bremmer. He is the president of the Eurasia Group and is also the author of a new book, Us versus Them, The Failure of Globalism. Ian, good to have you here. I want to start on the news of the week with North Korea. Moon Jae-in seems to have totally changed the topic. We're not talking about military strikes. Now we're talking about diplomatic breakthroughs.
That's right. And so, first of all, big win that the United States and the Trump administration were able to push the North Koreans to this point, both carrots and sticks, right? Offering a summit, not talking about human rights, but also saying, you don't get this right, we're going to squeeze you really hard, maybe military strikes. The Chinese got to the table first, right? That's all plus. But you can't talk about preemption. Military strikes if the Chinese and the South Koreans and the North Koreans are all engaged in summitry and making peace. And that is exactly what's happening right now. So if Trump wants to have a meeting with Kim Jong Un and declare that this is a great breakthrough and it's a historic win and no other president can do it, he can do that. But the idea that Trump's going to be able to force denuclearization right now, he's lost a significant piece of his leverage.
What did you make of National Security Advisor John Bolton, who was on this show and repeatedly mentioned the Libya model as what they want to see happen with North Korea? What does that mean for our audience?
Well, what it means for the North Koreans, they know what the eventual outcome of the Libyan model was, which is Gaddafi gave up the ability to put together nuclear and chemical weapons, and he ended up dead. And if you are Kim Jong Un, the idea of denuclearization, right, is one that is almost inconceivable for any analyst, given Saddam Hussein, given Gaddafi, also given Iran. One of the things that's really interesting to watch on the Iran deal, clearly Bolton, private citizen, wants it dead. Bolton, National Security Advisor, on your show saying, let's see what the president's going to say. But, you know, that's a self-imposed deadline, May 12th. Kim Jong Un is, the meeting is after that. I think there's a lot of pressure on Trump right now. Yes, he can rip it up, but don't rip it up before. Give Macron and Merkel a chance to go back. They said that they can work on something else, something additional, maybe on ballistic missiles and the rest. Let Trump have a chance to blame them for failure, then rip it up, but first get your deal done with the North Koreans.
Buy yourself more time. I want to talk about your book here, Us versus Them. It's a fascinating read, but you really lay out a pretty damning vision of where the world is headed and the various structural issues that you say we're not talking enough about. That populists aren't the problem, they're the symptom of the problem.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying that Trump is the fault of a more divided country than I've ever experienced, especially because it's not just in the U.S. It's across all of the advanced industrial democracies in the world today, except for Japan, where they have no immigrants and the population is shrinking, right? We have big economic issues where a lot of people feel left behind by globalization, big social and cultural issues where a lot of people feel left behind as we welcome in more immigrants. We have big security issues where enlisted men and women and their families feel left behind because the United States is sending them to wars that fail. They come back, a lot of them broken. Veterans Administration doesn't work. We don't treat them as heroes. And now we have technology that's not only displacing more workers than globalization ever did, but it's also dividing us in terms of what we do and don't watch, who we listen to, who we follow, and who we like. That's structural. That's why Trump won. That's why Bernie Sanders was who he was. That's why Merkel just got destroyed in her last election as the Alternative for Deutschland. That's why the Italians had the worst outcome for the established political parties since World War II. I mean, only Macron has one of the globalists, and he almost didn't make it into the second round because of historic wins by the far left and the far right in France. In America, we think everything's about us. But if we recognize we're not so unique here, this is happening all over the world, we have to stop with it's all about Trump. You can get rid of Trump. You're not going to impeach him probably, but he's going to go after 4 or 8 years. You're not going to fix any of these problems.
It is a really fascinating political analysis, and it's one that I recommend you have a tall drink and not of water with, because it is... You highlight a lot of really key issues that we should be talking about. We got to leave it there. Ian, thank you for coming on the show. We'll be right back.